And this is what I'm going to give you. Anybody of faith, when it comes down to that, and you know that you want to be married and that's something you desire, I say instead of you trying to do it, leave it alone and let God do it. Let God reveal that to you first before you start just trying to do things on your own. Because more than likely, on average, you're going to end up in a relationship where you're on this emotional roller coaster with somebody, trying to get them to do right, trying to get them to live up to this desire that you've always had in your heart. I'll give you this. I was on a call talking to a young lady. This young lady has always wanted to be married. That's been her thing since I've known her. Want to be married so badly that, you know, when you want that so badly, you allow people in your life and they really damage you and take advantage of you. So let's just say that. So I finally asked her, I said, listen, do you know why you want to be married? What is the real desire? What's the real reason why you so eager about this? And she says, well, I did some thinking, and I know it's because my childhood, because I feel like my mama and daddy did not give me the love, you know, that she needed. So she thought that the next best option was to have a relationship or to be married. So in other words, like I was telling her, you're looking for somebody to be responsible for the hole that you have in your heart. Okay, so once again, this is a broken person who's not becoming whole. You see what I'm saying? This is why when you receive God and you're being transformed and renewed and you're being whole, come on now, you're being fruitful, meaning by yourself. You see what I'm saying? God mends the brokenness in us, right? Ain't that's what the healing is for, right? So in other words, you're not even letting God do that work in you, and that's the average person. They looking for somebody to use. You don't see it as using, but that's what it is. But what are you going to do when that person stops showing up to love on you where it hurts? Then what? Do you just hurt all over again? This is what I mean by being whole. So therefore, if somebody leave you, you see what I'm saying? They don't take everything with them. You're still whole. You're still solid. You can still stand. That's what I mean. And the average person, I told her, people don't do that. It takes too much to sit and go through that transformation. Most people don't want to do that. They want to find other things to make them feel good. That's why a lot of people have kids too, because these kids gonna love me. What happens when your kids don't? What happens when you and your kids don't get along? What happens when they have their own life? You go right back to being lonely again? Or are you going to let God fulfill you? Catch them diamonds. So I no longer see Adam and Eve the same. I see Adam and Eve for what humanity was going to be, what it was going to be for man, woman, and child. Adam and Eve, to me now, is nothing more than a reflection of what relationships was going to be like. See, you have the man, where God established, authority, right? Leadership, right? He gives orders, right? Then you have the woman to fall up under that, right? But all I seen in the story of Adam and Eve was a man given responsibility that he was not ready for, and was a woman who came along that can easily be led by the enemy. And then they have children who have quarrels. And when you have Cain who killed Abel, that is a reflection of what society is now. The man pointing the finger at the woman. The woman is easily led. Their children quarrel. That is the same thing that I see now. It was just a reflection of what life was going to be. When one does not take accountability, when one does not know how to lead. So what Adam say, it's the woman you gave me that caused this. And that's what they say now. It's the woman's fault. And then in the same way, women are easily led astray by anybody. She's looking for covering, but during looking for covering, anybody can come along and cover the woman that can lead her astray. She's easily manipulated, just like Eve. You see what I'm saying? That's all it shows me. What it was going to be like for man, woman, and child. Terrible. Terrible after that. And so, so many people are dying trying to have this perfect image of man, woman, and child. And it seems like the whole dynamic is already cursed. in my opinion. That's why I say you want a kingdom relationship. It's about becoming whole. You better stick close to God on this one. Because if you try to do it yourself, you're going to end up with an Adam and Eve situation where the man blames you even though God put him in leadership. And then the woman is easily led astray by other people. And then you have children that quarrel in their order. That's all I see. With a spiritual awakening, I read the Bible different now, and I see it different from the very beginning. And all I see is people are struggling to have that perfect dynamic and image. And it's not happening for the average person, is it? It's not. But we dying trying to do it. This is why most people live in that facade. They put up the pictures and, the vacations and the children. The only way for most people to have it is through pictures. And you know why? Because those pictures were perfect moments. Perfect. That's the best we can do a lot of times. Until the people become whole. And to those that's walking with God, or you in your spiritual journey, until you become whole, you're not going to have a chance to have that perfect dynamic. It's not going to happen. It's not going to work that way. You cannot be spiritually dead. You cannot have, you cannot have all these insecurities and just bad behavior. You get it. The list goes on. You can't do that and try to have a kingdom connection. What are we missing here? You can quote every scripture out the Bible, but until there is until you are transformed and renewed, just in other words, there needs to be internal work done. There needs to be improvement within self. You see what I'm saying? You need to go through a purging, basically, because everybody trying to skip that process and just have this perfect dynamic. If Adam and Eve didn't have it, why you think you gonna have it? Especially if you skip over instructions that God gave you. Now we can go back and forth and argue about, Adam and Eve. Adam, how would they know? They ain't never met the enemy before. I believe that. I get that too. I say the same thing. I say that they were doomed from the beginning, to be honest. But I say that for another time. But if we just want to stick to the biblical, when he did not follow God's instructions, when he said, hey, I'm putting you in charge. Don't do this. Don't do that. Let's just keep it there. Keep it simple right now. You see what I mean? And when you cannot stay in alignment with God and be obedient, everything else gonna crumble. That's all I'm trying to say. So you going through all this hell when you could really just do the right. Just do what makes sense. It's just be obedient. Walk in alignment with God. That's all. Basically, that's what I'm saying. Especially for those who want it so bad. Because other than that, y'all just gonna be in dead relationships. And both parties are dead. Just like Adam and Eve when they fell. You see, when they came into sin, dead. It was up after that. Kids killing each other. It was up after that. Paradise is gone. Basically. Okay, I'm out.